Okay. Thank you so much for joining. This is Exploratory Online Seminar number 68. Today, I like to present Exploratory version 6.0, not 6.0, 6.10 new features. We released this, I think it's about 2 weeks ago. And since then, we have to release 2 patches. But nonetheless, it's available our downloads download page, and it adds very useful key new features that I'd like to share with you today. Okay, so before getting into, let me introduce myself. Oops, there you go. Let me introduce myself. My name is Kan Nishida. I'm a CEO at Exploratory. We started Exploratory back in 2016 spring to democratize data science. And since then, we've been building and improving Exploratory, which is a tool to make it easy access to data science, various data science methods. And also, we provide a training and a seminar or this type of seminars to share our knowledge and skills so that more people will be able to use data on their own data and analyze and make better decisions. So our vision is everybody should be able to make data-informed decisions. And in order to do that, the data science needs to be democratized. And I think that's our mission. And we basically, like every single thing we do is always around this mission. And then when we say data science, we think it's 5 key sort of ingredients. The one is the data access. If you don't have the data, you don't nothing can start. And then you have to shape up or clean up and put in the right format so that the data wrangling. And then you want to visualize or use analytics methods to find the patterns and trends in the data so that you can gain useful insights from the data to help you answer the original business questions. And you go through this 4 things going back and forth until you find something useful insights. Most of the time, you want to share that insights with others. So the last piece on the right-hand side, communication, is also the important part of the whole data science workflow. And Exploratory provides a modern and simple UI to do these 5 things easier and quicker. Okay, so having said that, let's get to the main contents of today. Exploratory Online Seminar number 68, Exploratory version 6.10. First, I like to talk about a little bit of collaboration. Exploratory, we as a team, internal Exploratory, we actually use Exploratory, obviously, to analyze our data. And then when we do, I think it's always a collaboration is a key thing to do. So we started adding more collaboration capability, sort of kind of gradually, but especially last few releases, we are working on this kind of project level collaboration, not like that data or chart or dashboard level, which was there before, but we have been focused on the project level. So as you might have known, like we have the Exploratory server. So like when you have the Exploratory desktop, you create something, you can publish to our server. And then if you don't want to use our public cloud server, then you can actually install the Exploratory server on your on-prem server as well. But nonetheless, you publish like data, dashboards, and so on. And then obviously, the thing is now is that you can publish the project. And then when you publish the projects, obviously, like you wanna, download the project. I mean, your team members, you download the projects, and then you make some edits, and then you republish, and then sync it, and then so on. So before 6.10, what was happening is when you first create a project and publish to the server, and the server will have the exact same project, right? It's a mirror or a copy of it. Then you or somebody else in the team add extra, let's say like add extra chart or something in the same project. And then at that point, the server is now old, so like you want to republish it, make sure the server is the latest and a single source of source. And so you will publish it. What happened at this point is that like a chart will be published, but also along the other things. So entire project was compress another zip file and then publish to the server and then deploy on the server side. So regardless whether you modify only one chart or like many things, it's always more, all of the stuff will push to the server. And this is not just a publish, but even like sync side of it or like importing side of it. You somebody added a chart, all you want to do is just download that extra chart because that's the only difference, but it was downloading the whole thing. So with 6.10, we did what people think it's obvious thing to do, which is the incremental upload and then download. So now like you create a chart, you publish it, and at this point, like only the chart part being published. So like other part doesn't, don't have to go to the server. So only the part. So that means the performance is going to be much faster than before. And then if somebody else wants to re-import this project because they get the notification, so on, so published. So then you click on the import button or like I think update button. Then what's going to happen is only the chart is going to be sort of like a fall down, get imported. So it's going to be, again, it's much faster performance. Okay. And then what type of the incremental updates being supported? Well, basically pretty much everything. So like let's say like you added a new data frame, or you just deleted a data frame, or you modify it, or data wrangling steps, which you see on the right-hand side. You added an extra step, so deleted it and so on. And then the charts and the analytics and dashboard and notes, same thing, like you added, delete, edit, etc. So these incremental updates are really to improve the performance. I think if you happen to be the user of the project share, I think you're gonna enjoy this one. Then the more detail on the project share, I have done the seminar in the past, maybe like a few months ago. So you go to our website, Exploratory.io. Under the run, there's an online seminar. And then like an online seminar page, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there is a past seminar recording. When you click that, you will see a list of all the seminars we have done before. And then maybe, I think the seminar number 64, this is the one, the collaboration with Exploratory team and project share. So this seminar talks about like all the project share more in detail. Okay. All right, so then let's move to other kind of a typical exploratory new feature style. So first, let's start with the chart. We added like equal step, equal width with value range, and then the sum if ratio, this type of the function support in the chart. So let me just quickly show like how this works. So let's say like you have, let's say chart. I'm gonna just create a new chart. And then this is employee data, so human resource or employee data. So each row is an employee. And then like I have this age column. Okay, so if I want to kind of visualize this sort of like age distribution, I can use bar chart or histogram, but I'm going to use a bar chart for this time, and then set the age to the x-axis. So what just happened is the age is a numerical, but it's created it as sort of like a kind of groups. So creates 5 groups. And then when you look at here, is from 18 years old to 26.40 and so on. And what's really happening is between 18 years old to 16, and then just divided by divided by 5. And then so each width in each bucket will be equal, sort of like equal width, right? So that's what's really happening. It's very kind of, that's what it is. But here, like what we added is you can click on this equal width. And in this category setting, we added a couple things. Number one is this lower range and upper range. So sometimes, hey, you know what? Like I want to divide into 5, but I don't need to have like a less than 20 years old or greater than 50 years old. Not like we don't need to, but I want to create as a kind of separate group. And then within that range, I want to divide into 5 groups. So what I mean by that is that, for example, if I set this one to 20, and if I set this one to the 50, and then right now, the number of categories, the default, which is 5. So if I click on apply, what happens is here, this is like less than 20 years old. So all those people come here. So there are 28 people. And then most right-hand side, this is like a greater than 50 years old. And then between meaning like 20 to 50 years old, now it's being divided to 5 groups with an equal width option. So 20 to 26 is 6 years old, and then here 26 to 32 is 6 years old. So these 5, the center 5 bars always have like a 6 years as a width or as a range, if you will. Okay, so that's one. And then another thing we did was that here the type. We added another thing. We had the equal width and equal frequency. This time we added equal step. And what that means is the equal step is you can particularly set up, specifically set like, hey, I want to do like every 5 years or every 10 years or something like that. So let's say if I want to do like every 10, and then I'm going to just keep like a lower range 20 and upper range 50, and then click on apply. And what happens here, so 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. If I want to change that to every 5 years, then I can click set the 5 and click apply. And then each bar is now like every 5 years. So this one is the age, but if you have like a sales or maybe conversion rate or whatever the numerical stuff, you can actually set it. So like let's say like every $1,000 or something like that. And then like you set the lower range and the upper range, and then that will make kind of a chart looks more sort of intuitively interpretable or readable. Okay, so that's here, but this one is not for x-axis, but for example, like if I'm going to change that to the job role to the x-axis, and then let's say like in the color, I'm going to assign the age, and I'm going to just make that like a kind of 100% bar, so that like so here is a age group, right? The color represent each age group, and then like the ratio because I changed to the 100% bar, so each sort of like a block is a ratio of each age group within the given job role. So now at this point, hey, you know what? Like I want to actually change this one to do the same thing. So I want to just create a different group for less than 20 years old, and then greater than 50 years old. But between, I want to divide by, let's say like 10, every 10 years old, something like that. And then so here right now, the equal width 5. So same thing, like I can click on the green button. And then here you have the grouping type. And instead of equal width, I'm going to do the equal step, and then set the lower range to be 20. And then here higher range to the 50. And click apply. And then okay. Here, this click apply button meaning like update only the preview area. So, okay, so this is what I'm going to get. And this time, like I'm going to be just a little bit creative. So I'm going to change this color at the bottom and the color at the top. So I'm going to just modify only the lower and the upper colors. And I'm going to keep the default for the kind of between range. And then click apply. And then like I can get this chart. So the color itself is very flexible, but with this new option of equal step with lower range and upper range, I think you have more way to sort of like express that data more intuitively understanding. Okay, understanding way. All right, so that's the equal with equal value. Other thing is, I don't know, like you guys already using it, but like the conditional summarize function, these type of functions were in the data wrangling step, but we added the support for the chart as well. So this one too, let's take a look how this is going to work. I'm going to just start creating a new chart. You know what? I'm going to go to the different data set. Here you go. And I have created this summarized table already. And then right now, what I created it was here, like a by region, group is region. And I like to see this is like a sales data. So like I want to see like what is the total sales for each region. And then like I want to also calculate the sales of a particular product, in this case, the furniture. So I've created this one. So, but here, if I click on the green text, and then I get the condition. But let's say like if I want to create a new one, let's say like I want to see like something else. Let's say maybe like a different product. So what product I have? Summary view. If I go to summary view and the category, here's the furniture and technology and office supplies. Okay, let's calculate the sales of the technology, and then we'll go back to the chart, and then I'm going to assign maybe the sales, and then like, click on this one. And when you scroll all the way down, these are the goodies. So here's sum if and sum if ratio, and then so on. So I'm going to select this sum if function. And then like, I get this condition creation dialog. This is basically the same dialog as a filter dialog. And then here I can say any column is fine, but this time like I'm going to do is category equal to, and then technology, and I just create a condition. And then if I click run, now this sum of sales is actually only for the technology, excluding furniture, excluding office supplies. And if I want to change the column name, I can go from like a formatting, and then here is the sales, but this is like a technology, right? And I click apply button, and then here it is. Now this is interesting. Okay, so Canada has a technology $26,000 of the sales, but I like to know what's the percentage ratio of this against a total. Well, basically total is here, right? So you can create a custom calculation to do something like this if you like, but that's always cumbersome. So, but now we added sum if ratio calculation as well. This is available for the data wrangling step too. But here, if I select the sum if ratio, what happened is here 0.39. 0.39 meaning it's basically 39% of the sales in Canada is coming from the technology related products. So that type of calculation is much easier with the 6.10. And then one more thing here is to, hey, you know what? I want to actually color code here, like this the second column. So you can actually click on the menu and go to the formatting. And then this visual formatting is the one that you want to actually try. However, in this release, we added some kind of sort of like a shortcut menu, which is this visual formatting. Okay, so if I go to the visual formatting, and there's 3 options: show bars, background, set color conditional, or so on. So if I go to show bars or background, and immediately I get this bars behind these numbers. And if you want to do more sort of like nice fancy stuff, customize, then you want to go to the formatting. And then this one is already selected. So that hey, you know what? Like I want to use different color, maybe like green or something like that. And click on it, and then you get the different color as well. And then like you want to change the formatting and percentage, and then you get the different number formatting. In this case, a percentage format. Okay, so that's the, I wanted to show you is like a sum if and a sum if ratio. This is not just for the sum, but also this conditional function has median, mean, and mean, max, and so on. And then this ratio function is for sum and count unique as well. Okay. So that's for the chart. And then the data wrangling, we didn't introduce new type of data wrangling this release, which we are planning for the next release. But this release, we made minor improvements, but might be very critical for some of you. We added this preview button in the window calculation dialog, and also summarize dialog, and also pivot dialog. So sometimes when you have like a bunch of columns, and then each column is doing, some heavy calculation, and it takes a long time. It used to be like automatic regenerate or preview, so it was taking a long time every time you add a new column. So we added this preview button, so you don't have to wait until like you're ready, and then you click the preview button now. Okay, so we are thinking about extending this preview, or not really preview, but the run button to chart as well, because we've been hearing people using summarize table and a pivot table under the chart view having the same type of the problem, which is when you have a bunch of columns, you have, and because the chart always, like every time you change assignment of the column, automatically regenerate the result. So that ended up like taking a lot of time. So we're thinking about adding similar thing in the future release as well. Okay. So the next topic is analytics. We added a dictionary support. So if you happen to be the text analysis users, you're gonna like this one, or probably you've been maybe that might be one of the reasons you are not really using text analysis. So we added a dictionary for stop words and compound words, and I'm gonna do the quick demo for this one as well. So here, I have already got the Twitter data for this demo. So, and I query as a data science. Okay. So what I'm going to do is let's start with a new one. Or before that, let's look at what type of data we're talking about. So this is the data, and then I just type data science. So anything that contains a data science, it has to be data space science, because I just use a quotation. So as long as you have that in the tweets, and all the tweet came back in here, and then at this point, I like to know is like what type of the words are most popular, what type of the words are used together. So that kind of stuff, like I wanted to do the analysis on it. And then so here type, and then text analysis and a word count. And then the text column, I'm going to use assign the text column and click run button. Okay. So at this point, I'm using the old default setting, and this might take some time. Maybe like here you go. And then so this is like a word cloud, and then looks like a data science. Those two words are the most popular. And then, but nobody's going to say like, yeah, this is amazing. Like, it's, I'm so glad that like we found this one, right? Because like this Twitter query is actually the data science. And of course, the data science are the top words. So let's consider this as something called stop word. Stop word meaning that sort of kind of meaningless in this context, because, for example, like most of the tweet and most of the text contains the exact same word, like this or that, or kind of something like that. Then it's no point of like counting those and comparing with other words, right? So same thing for this data science as well, like because every single rows or text or tweets contain this one. So it used to be you go to the property, and then here's additional stop words. The reason we call additional because there's a default stop words like or the kind of stuff. Those are already taken care of, but and those are based on kind of language sensitive as well. Anyway, so you type like data science here, for example, data and then science, and then click apply button, and then this data science and will disappear. And that's good if you have only one analytics on here, right? But what happened is like you ended up creating a bunch of analysis and a bunch of analytics tab, or like you import a different data, or you might go to a different project, and every single time like you have to enter these stop words in the property, and that is ridiculous. So what we did is like, okay, so let's add a dictionary, right? So here, additional stop word dictionary. If you have, then you can actually select in here as well. So what this one is, so I'm going to click on this edit dictionary button. Okay, so now here I have 4 dictionary created. The bottom 2 are Japanese, top 2 are English. But I'm going to create a brand new new one. Okay, so let's create a stop word dictionary. And all it does is basically gives me the blank text editor. And then what I want to do is I can just start typing, listing up all those stop words, list by the sort of like enter key or like what do you call it, new line. So that what that means like a data and then new line and then science. Okay, so this is sort of like you can start adding those. So like, let's say like if you have like a 50 stop words, that means you're gonna have the 50 rows. Okay, so I'm fine with this. Click on save and a close button, and then it's saved as a stop words. But I realized that hey, this stop words is like kind of doesn't mean anything. Like I want to change this name so that I can recognize, right? So click on this name. And then here, this is the name area. So this is stop words for online seminar. And then save. So now here's a stop words online seminar. And then close it. And then at this point, additional stop word dictionary. Here's stop words online seminar. And if I click apply button, so now it should delete, remove data and science from that list. And then now I get a different view here. And that's good. And then from here, like you can still, start working on, for example, like, hey, you know what is this just, or, maybe lot or whatever. So you can start adding these things into the stop words list as well. And then, so that's a stop words. And then other thing I want to do is, so that's one type of the dictionary. But the other type of the dictionary is when you see here, do you notice that here is like here, it says machine. And then at the top one is a learning. And then some machine, here's a machine learning is kind of all connected word as well. But here the learning, this learning, I wonder, this is for sort of like, I want to learn the Python, that type of the learning, maybe like online learning or, learning class or something like that. Or this is part of like machine learning, right? So I want to consider, because this is a data science related topic or the tweet. So I don't want this machine learning to be treated as a separate word. They have to be the same sort of same word as a one word, right? So in that case, I want to create machine learning as something called compound word, which means even though it looks like it's separated by the space, but try to be in the same sort of single word. And this can be useful because there are so many words kind of like this. And also sometimes like a name of the company, like, even though like a name has like a space in it, but you don't want to separate those. I can't come up with the name of the company. Let's say like I just hypothetically like a Chase Bank or something like that, right? So and then like a Chase and a Space Bank, but those are can be two different words. But like, hey, you know what? This is a company name, right? So those are the compound word. So you can create that as well. So go to the property, and here's a compound word dictionary, and then click on edit dictionary. And then I already created one. Here is a data science compound word. Let's take a look at it here. And I already said machine learning and big data, artificial intelligence. These the words that has a space in it, but I want to treat them as a single word. Okay, so this time I'm not going to create a new one. Instead, I'm going to use the existing one. So compound word, and then I'm going to use data science compound words, and click apply. And let's see, like maybe some of the learning, not necessarily the machine learning, maybe like learning contents or something like that. But here I see the kind of a higher ranking machine learning. These are like even though it has a space, but it's supposed to be a single word. Okay, and then maybe other stuff, maybe like a big data, maybe somewhere like I can't find it now, but you know what I mean. And then like if we go to the words bar and then like see like Python, data science, machine learning, here you go. So this is like machine learning as a single word now. Okay, and then go to the word pair. This is like a network chart to visualize the relationship among the words. So machine learning here is like the red color one. And then that is more like a course engineering and an online course. And it looks like a lot of online course around machine learning. And so, okay. And then, so this dictionary, you can access from here as well. So this is like a project menu. And then the dictionary bracket text analysis. And then you get the same list. So it's not like you have to create analytics and access to it. You can create as in dictionary independently. And then another cool thing is, you might have noticed is, let's say like I have the stop word, and I can actually publish this one. And then, so if I publish this one, and then this is going to go to the server, which is our server. And then let's say like if I, let's say publish to the server, and then what happened is here, it's hosted and then either public or private. And why you want to publish that? Well, you know, obviously some other people can use it. Maybe like your teammate can use it, right? So if you are using Exploratory as a team, then you can actually click on this install button. And then these are the word dictionary that are currently hosted at the server that I have access to. So, but I don't have access to, someone published it privately, but these are the one probably either private, but in my team, or, you know, something public, right? And then like I can select, okay, you know what, like, oh, it looks good. Like I want to use this one, and I can click import button. So you don't have to create from scratch. You can actually import somebody else, and then you can start building from there as well. This is very useful, especially when you're kind of collaborating. Like, you know, at the beginning I said, you can do the project level collaboration, but also this dictionary too, you might want to maintain the dictionary as a team, or even like you're using by yourself. If you have using like multiple PC, then you can sort of like you use this feature so that like every machine, like you don't have to create from scratch, or you don't have to do like sending email back to yourself kind of stuff. And then here's a sync button. So if somebody already updated that dictionary since the last time you imported, then it will have this icon. Then you can sync it. And then like you have the up-to-date dictionary as well. Okay, so that's the dictionary. And the next topic is here, the dashboard. So this 6.10, the main focus has a couple of things. One of the things is that, I don't know why this one says chart, this one, obviously it's not the chart section. This is a dashboard. We added a column layout, page support, and also at the runtime, we added a couple options such as data download, image download, and also comment view per chart level inside the dashboard. So now you can create the dashboard in this kind of layout. So this layout, what's unique about that compared to previous releases, the left-hand side, the chart is a long, kind of vertically long chart. So now you can create this format. Okay, so let's do quickly create a new dashboard from here. So select the dashboard, and then maybe like I have like a climate data, climate change data. So like it's you know, by the country, each country's consumption of you know, fossil fuel, like it's, you know, coal or oil or gas and so on, and also like a CO2 emission. Okay, so I've already created those charts, and then all I need to do is just put them together as a form of the dashboard. Okay, so first you notice something kind of around here is like I said, it looks like a page, and also like some kind of layouts and stuff. So I'm going to just quickly add something here. Let's say like a CO2 emission. I just added the chart, and then now I have this one big chart, and then like I want to add more. So like you want to whenever like you want to add, always go to this add button, and then you can add the chart, and then like I'm going to add this second chart, and then maybe I'm going to add another chart, and then this time I want to do like a coal consumption, for example, and then click on this chart. Okay, and then this chart we are looking at is basically each country's consumption of the coal or emission of the gas, CO2 on the time horizon, time axis. Okay, and the center chart is each country's, I think this is like a CO2 emissions compared among the countries. Okay, and then like you can just change the position and stuff. Okay, oops, wait a second. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, so now this, if I want to add more charts, I can add, for example, like add row above or below. Let's say like add row below, and then you know what, like I want to move this chart to be the bottom, and I want to move the chart here bottom, and then like hey, now the two charts has a different sort of like ratio. This one is 70%, 30% or something. I want to make it like 50%, 50%, and then here the distribute bottom, and then distribute equally. Okay, so this is nothing new. It's just a slightly different way because we consolidated all the menu to this add button or something at the top. But what we did is here, this is a row layout. So whatever the existing way of creating dashboard is now called rows layout. Okay, and then we added something columns layout. Okay, so if I change this to columns layout, what happened is, so now each row, now it flips into the columns, okay? And then like each column has sort of its own territory now. So this one, left column, this area, happen to have only one chart. You can have two charts or three charts, or you can keep it just one single chart. That means that chart is gonna be like shown as a kind of a long chart. Let's take a look how that is going to look like. So this chart is using like from the top to bottom, and then right-hand side, this is also second column, but divided into two by these two charts. Okay, and then like if I want to add even more, let's say like I want to add more charts on the right-hand side, then you can select maybe whatever the columns here, and then add and a column left or right. So I'm going to add the column to the right side. And then I'm going to just move it a little bit and then add the chart. And then here I want to have maybe like a gas consumption chart. And then like I want to add one more chart in the same area. So add the chart. And then I think like a oil consumption chart. Okay, so now I have two charts here. You know what, like I want to add even more, like you can actually do that too, but I'm not going to do it. There's an endless of use thing you can do. And then now at this point, again, the kind of width is kind of unbalanced. I want to make that like the distributed width evenly. And then at that point, I'm going to just change that a little bit and then touch up a little bit. And then I can click on Run button to generate this dashboard and make sure it's okay. Another thing is I want to add the numerics or numbers or KPI kind of stuff, this part, this top part. So how are you going to do it? You can add those numbers in an existing sort of like a right here, this kind of chart area as well. But those type of numbers tend to be, you want to have those at the top section. So in that case, you click on add, and then here's the add number row. So this is kind of a weird step until you get used to it. But nonetheless, I'm going to select it. And then this number row has a blue color instead of like these areas, a green color. So that's kind of a difference between the typical layout and then there's like a number only layout. So this area, you can add only number chart. You can't add a bar chart. You can't add a pivot table or anything like that. You can only add number chart or text. So click on add number, and then I already created this matrix. So for example, United States, carbon emissions, and then like I want to keep adding like other numbers. For example, China's, and how about Japan, and so on. And then like here as well, like you can change the position of like, okay, I want to bring the Japan second and sort of things. So this is a ratio of the CO2 emission by country. Yeah, I think the latest probably like at the beginning of December, this is not 2022 or something. But anyway, so that part is a specific to numeric. And then like you can add, for example, numeric row above or below as well. But this numeric stuff, you cannot have like under the chart. It's always at the top. So that's some kind of limitation. Okay, but anyway, nonetheless, and at this point, if I click round bottom, then like I get the dashboard, and then the top layers are numeric numbers, and then the bottom part of the chart sections. Okay, so this one is, I created one sort of like one page layout of dashboard. So now we also added a page. So now you can actually click on plus button, just like you do with the chart view or analytics view, and you can have multiple tab or page. And then I can do the same thing. Like I said, like, you know what, like I want to add something. What should I do? I thought I had something more interesting stuff, but it could be wrong. Coal consumption. Okay. But anyway, so let's say like I want to add this chart, and then like create this, and then this one, I'm gonna just add one more chart, just for the demo sake. And so like I have demo two charts as well. But notice though, this one is a row layout. The page one has a column layout. So each page can have its own way of layouting charts and stuff. Okay, and then once that's done, and then you can click on it, round bottom, and at this point you have page one and page two. Okay, and then this is the same thing. Like when you once it's done, and then you can, and then like once you done, you can click on the publish button and publish this dashboard to our server. And then like a server experience as the same thing. Like you're gonna see like a page one and a page two and so on. Let's just publish that just for the sake of this demo. Seems like my okay, here you go. Climate demo and public, and I'm gonna just publish it. Okay, and then from here, like what I wanted to show you guys is at this runtime, you can do this in a desktop, this like a run button mode, so like a runtime, or after like you publish, so like your audience, right, can actually do the same thing as well. So, you know, sometimes these days, my machine start going super slow when I do this demo in the Zoom. So I don't know what's going on. There you go. All right, so this is how you open a dashboard on in a browser, our website. And from here, so a couple things. For example, this chart, like when you have two icons, one is obviously just expanding the chart so that you can have like a bigger view. But another one is this download button. When you click on this download button, the export chart image, and then so that you can copy and paste to PowerPoint or something like that. Another thing is I forgot to do one thing is that if you check on the CSV data, this is a download option, and then I'm going to just republish it. And then what it's going to happen is when you click on this download button, that you can, your audience or your teammate can download the data that is used by this chart or this chart or any chart. So that's actually convenient, especially for like your audience might appreciate that, but also for even a single use case, a single user use case, like you're creating like some reports, and you have to take a bunch of screenshots. And in that case, you don't want to go visit every single chart in the exploratory different data frames and different chart tabs, right? So in that case, like you want to just gather those charts that you're going to need in a single dashboard, and then like you basically here. Let me just refresh it. And then at this point, then you can actually download the chart or and export the chart data or chart image. Okay, and then that way, like you don't have to go visit every single data frame on this chart tab and so on. Okay. And then if you happen to have the comment that said, like you can make the comments in each chart, right? So let's say this chart comment button, if you happen to have the comment, that comment is going to be, comment icon will be here. Then your audience can click on it and see like, oh, what the memo about this particular chart. Okay, so that's a dashboard side of update. And that's pretty much it, except another thing is the parameter. So where do I have here? There you go. So this dashboard I have published before. And do you notice one thing here is that the parameter section is part of the page. So what that means is somebody click on this, let's say, link, and then I go open. And then the parameter is always on the right side. And then therefore, like they know there is a parameter before you happen to know like this parameter button to open that parameter. But now like it can be part of the page as well. So what this one though is I think it's now default, the new publishing dashboard on the node. The dashboard will have this, if you happen to have the parameter pane always be part of the page. You can change the setting under this parameter setting and then show the parameter pane on top of the page or part of the page. Right now, for example, if I say click on this one, and what is going to happen is the parameter is gone. So now like your users have to click on this parameter button, and then the parameter pane will be shown kind of on that dashboard, okay, overlay on the dashboard. Okay, and then, but nonetheless, you can click on this button to enable the parameter. And then once it's enabled, now that you can interact with this parameter, by change this parameter and then update the data in the dashboard. Okay, so that's the dashboard side of things. And there's one more thing, or one last thing, which is the data source. We added the text input data. And then this is kind of looks like a minor, but it's actually very convenient. So something like this, you can just kind of, you can create, literally, you can start typing, comma separated or space separated, whatever, to create the data inside the Exploratory. This might be useful when like you want to just create kind of like complementary data to join with the data like you're working on to do sort of like a mapping table issue data. You can create that now. Other use cases I'm going to show you, for example, I have this like a survey data. I think this is US government Census Bureau household public survey data. And then there are a bunch of like interesting information. Particularly what I care is this is the data is how people spending money these days, right? And then one of the topic is borrow from friends or family. So, I mean, with this economic conditions, like many people having a hard time just to go day by day. And I'm curious that what's going on. And then, they're like, for example, marriage status or, ethnicity and all different categories. One of the categories is household income. And then, so basically, let's say like I'm interested in this particular section. There are more columns as well, but let's say we are interested in this particular section of data. I want to bring this data into the Exploratory and then create a chart. right? And then now you can just copy and paste, and then go to the exploratory, and then select this text input data. This is a new one. And then here, this area, just paste it. And it seems like this is a tab delimited. And I don't know why it's tab, but this Excel, Mac Excel is doing it. That's fine. And then, so now if I click on run button, and then it looks like the data, except the first row becomes the header, but this is data, not the header. So I can change that to left-hand side. And this is basically the same set of the parameters that you see on the CSV data import. So you might be familiar with. So the first row as a header, no, the first row is not a header. So click on run button. And then it gives me like a bunch of like random column names, but look, this looks much better. And then from here, let's say like I can just click on save button. But also one thing I noticed, you notice is a data separator. So right now is auth. So that's why like it automatically detect, hey, this is a tab delimited. So it is using tab. If it's producing a kind of a wrong result, you might want to reselect. Hey, this is a comma or tab or space and so on. Okay, if auto works okay, then just keep it that way. Okay, but now here, one more thing I want to do is like, hey, you know what? Like, I don't want to type like a column name once I import the data. So here I can just select these columns. The problem is though, like Excel, like these are two rows, right? So if I select this and it gives me like kind of weird stuff because it's like a first row is like used in the last 7 days or something like that. So what I want to do is first, these are the first two columns name is this one. So I'm going to hit return. This is like a first two column name, right? Select characteristic total. And then I'm going to hit tab key. And then from here, the third two, I forgot, maybe like child tax, 1 to 6 columns and copy, boom. And then, so I just created the first row as this is like a column header. So now like I'm going to bring this one, like a first row as a header to yes, and click run button. And then now like I have all the column names and the data, and it looks way to go. And then click on save, create, and I have the data imported. Obviously, like I might still have to do something to just kind of clean up the data, or I can just go to the chart and then visualize. So this one, the Excel case, another case scenario like I find useful is something like this. This is like United Nations data, and then they actually expose every single resolution's voting record. The problem is the voting record comes like this. So it's not a CSV. It's just like, for example, this is Y, meaning this country says yes for this particular resolution. This country says no for this particular resolution, so or absence. Okay, so in that case, what I sometimes do is I just gonna copy, right? And then paste it into the text input data. And then I can click run button. And then I'm seeing this data case, one thing you want to be careful, auto didn't work for me. So I had to do like a space, but and the space magically works even though like a country name has a space, but it consider only this first space as well. Okay, so there are many useful scenario, I imagine. Let me know if you find other useful scenario. I'd love to hear the feedback. Okay, that's it today. That's obviously not all the enhancements we made for the 6.10. We have more enhancements as well. For that, oops. You want to go to the download page, and then obviously you can click on download button, and then to download, let's say like screenshot is wrong. So I'm going to just go to the exploratory. So here's a download page. And then like the latest one is 6.10.2, and you can click on it to download. And if you happen to be Mac users, there are two versions, Apple chip or Intel chip. latest one, a new Mac computer has an Apple chip, so you might want to select that one, something called M1 chip or something like that. But anyway, click on this release notes if you want to know more details on all the bug fixes and enhancements. So 6.10, we have made a bunch of fixes and also enhancements. You can take a look as well. Okay. And lastly, not least, so our online seminar, it's always like you can go to our website and learn, and there's an online seminar, and then you can see the past recording, including this one I'm going to upload later, and also the future online seminar information as well. And also under the learn, there is a link called how-to tutorials and how-to video. That's where we post, how to do how to create this type of charts or how to do this type of data wrangling information. So please take a look. With that, I think that's it for today's seminar. If you have any question or if you have any feedback on the new features, please let me know. My contact is kan@exploratory.io. And also we have the Twitter account at Exploratory Data. And also now we have release 6.10. The next release, the short-term plan is 6.10.3 is coming up. And this 6.10.3 is to certify the R4.2 and also its corresponding R packages. So as you know, like the Exploratory behind the scenes, there's R is running, and then the R version is being updated maybe quite a while already, maybe the last 2 months or something, but we haven't had the time to certify it. So we're in the process of certifying right now. So hoping maybe we can release something next week or later. And then once that's done, we're going to release, we're going to start moving on to 6.11. Okay, so this is a good time if you have any sort of like enhancement requests or some issues that like you are annoyed by or any feedback, please feel free to reach out to me. Okay, with that, that's it for today's seminar. Thank you so much for joining, and I'd like to open up for the Q&A session.